Good morning. Welcome to This Week.
Drone drama.
Why was he killed?
Let me finish, ma'am.
The president's reset in the war on terror.
This war, like all wars, must end.
How will Congress respond? Senator Rand Paul is here. Then,
I was just interested in putting it behind me.
retired General John Allen speaks out for the first time since being cleared in the Petraeus investigation. Plus, the IRS scandal intensifies.
I will not answer any questions or testify.
And
It passes.
immigration reform inches forward. And in our Sunday Spotlight, the creators of the hit show Homeland join us. What will they reveal about season 3?
I've spoiled a little bit already.
From ABC News, This Week with George Stephanopoulos. Now reporting from New York, Martha Raddatz.
Hello again. George is off today. Great to have you with us. The president declared this week we're at a crossroads in the war on terror in a speech that both reset his national security policy and reignited some passionate debates, including on the issue of drone strikes. Our first guest, Republican Senator Rand Paul, has been a key player in that debate since his filibuster thrust the controversy over targeting Americans with drones back in the spotlight. On Thursday, it sounded as if the president was responding directly to Senator Paul.
I do not believe it would be constitutional for the government to target and kill any U.S. citizen with a drone or with a shotgun without due process, nor should any president deploy armed drones over U.S. soil.
Senator Paul is with us now. Senator, thanks for joining us. Did the president address all your concerns about drones?
Well, I was pleased with his words, and I was pleased with that he did respond to this. However, there still is a question in my mind of what he thinks due process is. You know, due process to most of us is a court of law. It's a trial by a jury. And right now, their process is him looking at some flashcards and a PowerPoint presentation on Terror Tuesdays in the White House. For a lot of us, that's not really due process.
Well, one of the things the president did say is there will be rules for the drone strikes. He said targets pose a continuing imminent threat, only near certainty, no civilians hurt or killed, and not used to punish terrorists. That seems like a change.
Yeah, but a lot of what's very important to myself and others is what the law says and how you should approach this. For example, it's not good enough to us that he's not using a power. We want him to assert that he doesn't have the power. For example, last year we passed legislation that I voted against and many civil libertarians opposed, and that's detaining citizens indefinitely without a trial and sending them to Guantanamo Bay. Now, the president said he won't use that power, but we think a president who really believed in civil liberties would have vetoed the bill and not signed the bill.
I want to go back to the drone strikes for a moment. They also revealed this week for the first time publicly that 4 Americans had been killed in drone strikes, including Anwar al-Awlaki in Yemen. Should he have not been targeted by a drone?
My preference would be that when an American commits treason, particularly if they're not actively involved in a battle, if you're an American fighting with the Taliban, you're going to be shot with no due process. That's what happens in war.
But how do you go after someone like al-Awlaki if you can't get him?
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point so we can have a discussion. But if you are conspiring to attack America and you are a traitor, I would try you for treason. If you don't come home for the trial, I would try you in absentia. And then the death penalty has been used repeatedly throughout our history for treason. But a judge looks at evidence, and that's something that separates us from the rest of the world, is that we adjudicate things by taking it to an independent body who's not politically motivated or elected.
Let's move back to Guantanamo. The president did speak about closing it. No specifics, though. You think it should be closed?
No, I think it's become a symbol of something, though, and I think things should change. For example, I think the people being held there are bad people. What I would do, though, is I would accuse them, charge them, and try them in military commissions or trials or tribunals. And I think that would go a long way towards showing the world that we're not going to hold them without charge forever.
I want to move on to the IRS. Do you believe that this was limited to the Tea Party, targeting the Tea Party, or do you believe there were other groups as well targeted?
You know, I don't know. I don't know whether people were targeted for conservative religious values or just conservative political values, and sometimes there's an overlap. I think we have to get to the bottom of this. I think the constellation of these three scandals ongoing really takes away from the president's moral authority to lead the nation. Nobody questions his legal authority, but I think he's really losing the moral authority to lead this nation, and he really needs to put a stop to this. I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Nobody likes to see the opposite party punishing you for your political beliefs,
You've
using
called
the power
for a
of
special,
government to do so.
You've called for a special counsel on the IRS. Do you see any evidence that a crime has been committed thus far?
I don't think we know so far. The main woman from the IRS that's involved has taken the Fifth Amendment. She's no longer cooperating. So I have called for her suspension. The president did respond to that, and he has suspended her. However, he's still paying her, so I don't want that to go on forever. I think there needs to be a speedy resolution to this, and I think the president is in danger of losing his moral authority to lead the nation if we don't get to a resolution. Now, he says he's going to listen to his commissioner, new IRS commissioner, in 30 days. Well, the investigation's been going on over a year now, so I would think it wouldn't take very long. And if he goes beyond 30 days and if no one is fired over this, I really think it's going to be trouble for him trying to lead in the next 4 years.
Let's move to immigration. Would you support the bill, the Senate bill that made it through committee this week?
I support immigration reform. At this time, I think the bill needs to strengthen border security. It also needs to expand work visas. The main problem with illegal immigration is that we don't have enough legal immigration. This bill, because it was negotiated with the unions, actually lowers the numbers for work visas. That's exactly the wrong direction to go. So I will support a bill that fixes it, and I do want to support a bill. I've talked to the authors of it. If they will work with me on my amendment, which is called Trust But Verify, there is a very good chance I can vote for it, but it has to be a better bill.
And a pathway to citizenship?
I would say no new pathway, and I'm a little concerned that some will interpret it and that may well be a new pathway because they've created a new visa category. My preference would be to change the law that says you can't simultaneously be in the work visa line and in the pathway to come to this country. As long as somebody who has a work visa is treated the same as a new person in Mexico City who wants to get in line tomorrow, I don't have a problem getting in the normal line. I just don't want to create a new line or give a new preference to people who are here undocumented. But I am all in favor of letting undocumented workers become documented workers and finding a place for them.
Thank you so much for joining us, Senator Paul.